back to Swordsman Academy. Let's get into this. So with this, we have Akane. We start off this thing with Akane and Adrian sparring. Adrian lands a punch on her elbow, which makes her elbow like kind of almost break. Just, but then she swings her other arm, punching Adrian and launching him into a wall. He goes, as he's dug into the wall. He goes to punch her in the face. He goes, but then she says, Akane says in her head, focus, focus, focus the dark energy through my body and into my elbows. She jumps to the left with having her hands ready. She goes, charge, charge, charge. These two orbs appear on her elbow, kind of like black orbs. Then she raises her hands to her top of her head, over her head, and like an X formation. Then she says, night, days, as she slams her hands to the ground. And a humongous black wave of energy, orb of energy, blasts Adrian back and straight through a wall. He goes, as he hits a real metal wall and goes, Akane says, my technique, it actually worked. This is a deadly technique. But then Adrian appears right next to her, on the left of her, on the right of her. Then he goes, you let your guard down, and kicks his leg forward, then slams it back, like Vegeta did to Jiren. Where he goes, she goes, but then she says, nice try, loser Adrian, as she does like a handstand to kick him in the face. He goes, then he grabs her leg and yeets her into the sky. Then he pulls out because remember, they're having a close combat fight, instead of using their blades. She says, dark matter, dark days, as she says, I can't dodge this. Then he punches the ground, which makes a fire shield come up, which blocks the attack somewhat, but then her attack pierces through his thing and blasts him back. He goes, damn, that attack's strong. Way stronger than I've ever seen. As he spits out blood, going, there's nothing I can do yet. What can I do against her, though? If I keep on getting hit by those night days attacks, I'm gonna get wrecked. But then he looks to the left. But then everything goes dark for him. He sees one quick bright spot, and it's a tiny point on Akane's arm, on both of her arms. He goes, as he thinks to himself, is this a weak spot? Maybe that's where she charges up her energy. If I can stop that flow, then she'll be defeated. He appears right in front of her, punching that spot. She goes, then he kicks the other one, going, and that was actually the strike points to break her arms. He goes, you broke my arms, you damn bastard. As she puts dark energy into her left arm and smacks him high in the sky. He goes, damn it, I can't keep up with this. She says, so what if my arms are broken? She's flailing her arms into the sky and says, 9 days. As when he comes down, he's met with a humongous explosion, which knocks him into the sky. He goes, she says, damn you, this is what you get. As she jumps in the air and kicks him down, he goes, her speed's better than mine, and her agility and reflexes. As he's launched down, creating a humongous crater where he is, and she says, I'm not done. As she front flip is about to obliterate him with a heel drop. With kind of like dried up blood on Adrian's, like both side of his mouth, and blood on his head and arms and legs and chest. Alex appears and catches it, going, calm down, Akane, you know what happens when you get like this. He says, shut up, you know nothing about me. As she kicks him in the head, but he blocks it with his other hand, saying, I know a lot. As he spins her in the air, and then knocks her out with a neck chop. He says, Alex scratches his head, saying, these two always overdo it. As he looks left, seeing that there's a giant crater in the wall, saying, what could have done that? No attack from both of them could have. as they both wake up in the hospital room. And the nurse says, "What did they do this time?" Alex says, "Akane took it too far, with almost trying to destroy his stomach system." She goes, "Those two always try and overdo it." Here, as he shoots he creates an energy ball from his hand and slams it in, taps it onto Adrian and her foreheads, which heal them all, making their injuries go away. He says, "We found an alternative method instead of stabbing people with our swords. We just create a ball of energy from our hand and heal them. The other way hurts too much. And most people would rather stay like this than get hurt like that." Alex says, "Well, that is an alternative method," as Remy breaks down the door saying, "What did those two idiots do this time?" Alex goes, They didn't do anything. They're not here." She says, "Well, why are you in here then, Alex?" He says, "Shoot, she's gonna destroy them both if she finds out that they fought again. That they both took it too serious." He goes, "Nothing. No, they're not here." She says, "Then what's this?" As she shows security footage of Akane shooting a giant attack, which blows the entire crater in the wall. And she shows him stopping the fight. He goes, "Uh-oh." As she starts shaking his collar, going, "Arr!" As his head is bobbling around, she says, "Why? Why did they do this? Why do they always have to take it so overboard?" As she punches him in the face, saying, "Damn it!" As he lands in the wall and goes, "Ugh." He turns his head, saying, "How am I supposed to know? I didn't do any of this." But then he says, "Wait, show me the recording of footage again," as he spits out a tiny bit of blood. And she shows him the footage. And he says, "So that's where that giant crater was in that metal wall. Akane must have done that with her attack." Remy smiles, saying, "That attack must be strong, isn't it?" Alex says, "Yeah, probably." When they're about to walk out, they feel two things tugging on their collars. The nurse says, "You two aren't going anywhere until you fix my wall." They go, "Ugh." And after a couple hours, they finally finish plastering up the wall and fixing it. He says, "Good." As Adrian and Akane finally wake up, Adrian goes, They get a scolding from Remy telling them that they should never do that. Blah, blah, blah. Then they both walk out. And then, when they're about to leave the room, they both feel a tug on their shirts, and it's Remy. They go, "Huh?" She says, "You two are gonna fix the outside damage, because we had to fix this wall. So you guys will fix the outside." They go, About 5 hours later, they're finally all finished, going, as they both walk away, not speaking to each other. After class, they head straight to practice. They head straight to the training session. Shima's already training there with Emma, having a sparring match. And they're using the full sense of their power. Mr. Johnson says, "Stop!" And they stop their match. Then Mr. Joneston says, "Alright guys, exams are in a couple of months. This is your final exam before we head to the Tokyo Inter-High Nationals. You have to enter an exam there. You guys have had so much practice. I know you guys can do it. come on, show all of them who's boss. They all go, yeah. After they take the exams, a month later, he says, you guys have grown. And he says, line up. Everyone lines up. And then he says, you all have grown so well. Akane, Adrian, Alex, Remy, Inosi, I mean, not Inosi. Kira, Nandashi, Joey, all Shima and Emma, you've all grown so well. We have to see how this goes. Show 'em who's boss. I'll explain the 3 things of the Nationals. You have to take an exams to get in the Nationals, and we'll be taking a bus on that day. Make sure you behave yourselves. Got it, Akane and Adrian? They go, yes, sir. As they walk out, getting ready for the bus tomorrow, next week. But then he also says, when they're about to leave, you guys better study. You have to pass all the tests to get into the Nationals. They go, shoot. And that's it for this.